FinTech Nation, it is day 22. We are over 30% through this challenge. And we did scans this morning. They went really well. You know, you can expect, just as a general note, you guys, that, you know, the challenge is going to ramp up as well. That means calories are going to come down, not significantly, but they will come down. The cardiovascular portion of the program will get more intense. So you can expect, you know, to be pushed a bit more as the challenge goes on, and as a result, you'll see a little bit more change, okay? You also have to consider that the first few weeks in this challenge, you're adjusting yourself. You're just getting used to things. You're making mistakes. So you're not following things, you know, the way that I want you to. So this is all normal. So you can expect that your progress most likely will be better through the second and third portion of this challenge, okay? By the way, between your second and third scan, you have 4 weeks, okay? All right, let's get into some questions here. This is a big question, by the way, so I'm not gonna go, I could really go into detail about this, but let me just try to make this as succinct as possible. Somebody's asked me about, and actually several of you have asked me about carbohydrates. Sorry, not carbohydrates, about fiber. And do we count fiber? All right, so here's the thing. There's two types of fiber. Okay, so fiber is part of carbohydrate. So when your carbohydrates get tallied up for the day, fiber falls in there. But fiber, you know, does it count? Is it really a carbohydrate, or do we count it as a regular carbohydrate? That is a sugar or starch. And so let's just dive into this just quickly here. So we've got two types of fiber essentially. Okay, we got soluble and insoluble fiber. And you know what? There's probably more. Like, these are not concrete areas, and I'll explain that in a second. But for the sake of simplicity, we've got soluble and insoluble. Okay. Insoluble is going to go right through you, so that does not count. Okay, but the soluble aspect, what happens is in the large intestine, the soluble fiber gets eaten up by bacteria, largely speaking, and has somewhat of a caloric effect on the body. Now, I think this really depends on the type of soluble fiber, and there's a whole list. I mean, there's dozens and dozens. There may be hundreds, in fact, of different soluble fibers, and they're not all the same. They don't have the same, you know, chemical structure. So they certainly can't have the same caloric effect. But for the sake of simplicity, I am going to assign that basically that 50% of the calories that go into a soluble fiber get counted as carbs. Okay, so you're like, oh my God, this is getting more complicated. So let me just tell you this: take all your fiber. This is what we're going to do. I'm not going to have you figure out what is soluble and insoluble. Take all your fiber, and if there's 20 grams of fiber, okay, 10 of that you can discount. Okay, so you can take 50% of it, you're going to discount it. Okay, now why am I saying that? Because worst case scenario, let's say all your fiber is soluble. It's not, but let's just say all of it is. Then, in theory, about 50% of that is going to get converted, or is going to, 50% of the energy in that is going to get stored in your body, okay? For sake of simplicity. Now, how accurate is that? Well, that's much more accurate than most textbooks will tell you, to be honest. Okay, it's much more accurate than what a lot of labels will tell you, but I still think it's deeper than that. Okay, and you know what? I'll tell you this much. When you look at macronutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and we assign caloric values to those caloric values are an average. Okay. Not all proteins are going to be exactly 4 calories per gram. Not all fats are going to be exactly 9 calories per gram. Again, they have different chemical structures that get broken down. And, you know, without going into too much of the organic chemistry about it, just accept the fact that they have different energy disposal on the body, okay? But we have a system and it works. It's not perfect. We would never know whether it's perfect or not, okay? There's a whole other discussion here as to what gets digested in your body, right? Because the food's not getting digested, all right? And, you know, I don't really have to go into detail about whether food digests or not. You probably know, okay? You've probably seen undigested food before, right? So how much of a caloric effect does that have? It doesn't have any because it didn't get digested, right? Yet we would still count that in our food, all right? So there's all these little subtleties that make a difference, all right? So anyways, for the sake of simplicity, all right, and I'm sure I already made this complicated enough, if you like, you can take your total fiber, okay? MyFitnessPal should tell you total fiber. Take your total fiber, so whatever it is, let's say it's 40 grams for the day, and you can subtract 20 grams of that. Okay, so basically what that means is you can add in 20 grams of starch or sugar into your diet. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, now if you want to just make it completely simple, just count your fiber as carbs. Okay, even though not all of it will count as carbs. So, all right, one more thing here. What are we doing here? 6 minutes. All right. All right. If I answer this question, I'll be rambling for a long time. So, all right. Message of the day. While one may encounter many defeats, we must not be defeated. Okay? While one may encounter many defeats, we must not be defeated. Okay? You might feel defeated. You might have your first scan and feel defeated. Okay? It never goes well. Even in the beginning it could go well, and then down the road it doesn't go well. Whatever endeavor you're going to strive towards, expect to have what you call defeats. Now I call these bumps, because that's really all they are. You just have to accept that you may not see exactly what you want to see right away. That is not a reason for you to quit. Because I'm telling you, anything that is worth anything to work towards, you are going to encounter these mini defeats. You are going to encounter what you may decide in your mind as, I'm not cut out for this, I can't do this, it's not for me. And that is the reason why a lot of people don't end up, doing well or continuing in striving towards a certain goal, okay? And I can tell you through my own experience, this has happened to me many times, okay? I just couldn't see it at the time. And now I'm like, oh yeah, this is just another one of those bumps, all right? Screw this, I know what I want, and this is what I'm gonna do, okay? So just believe in yourself and keep going forward. Sounds cheesy, but you gotta believe in yourself. You can't expect everything to be nice and cozy and smooth, right? It's just not the way life works. All right, submit, commit. 3 weight training workouts, 3 cardiovascular sessions per week. That's only 4.5 hours of working out. And of course, we're gonna hammer out that diet. New numbers are coming tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys all soon. All right, we'll talk to you maybe tomorrow on the scan, or hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday night. But you get a video from me again tomorrow, as always.